So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how I added 30 watts to my FTP and lost 3 kilos in just 4 months, plus providing you with case studies of my clients doing exactly the same. So I'm going to walk you through step by step the exact processes that I use myself and also train my clients in order to allow them to cycle faster, recover quicker, and lose up to 10 to 30 pounds in around 4 months' time. So this presentation, my name is Neil, so I just want to welcome you to the presentation. And like I said, I'm going to show you exactly how, after years of plateauing my fitness, I've managed to add 30 watts of FTP and lose 3 kilos in just 4 months and finally get back to my best. And in this presentation, I just want to make sure that you're with me, because this is going to be quite a long presentation. It's not going to be something that you're going to sit through and learn everything in 5 minutes. But if you stick until the end, you will know exactly how to take action yourself in order to get the same results that you desire to improve your own cycling performance as well. So I want you to first of all just shut down everything that you're watching, all those other tabs, put your phone away, take out a pen and paper, and let's get into the presentation. So as you can see, these are my before and afters when it comes to my FTP test. 8th of February was 2 watts, and in 27th of June this year was 260 watts. So if you're looking to replicate that same process and the same results, then stick with me and you'll be able to get them exactly. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I've done it. So like I said, close down all your tabs, put away your phone and pay attention, because this is going to be everything that you need. So if you're planning to complete one of those 100-mile sportifs and you want to stop being dropped on your group rides and feel great in your lycra, then following this formula will give you what you're able to create. You'll be able to create the similar results at the same time, if not sooner. And before we get into the case studies, let me show you the results to highlight the slide before. So as you can see, this is based on my Strava fitness gains and my progression, 40% improvement in 6 months. And actually reviewing that recently, I've also not added some of the rides that I've done outside. So that has actually gone up quite significantly more since recording this presentation, because I tend to not to cycle with heart rate, just because I'm quite more conditioned and manage it better. However, if I don't record heart rate, Strava doesn't think you've gone for a ride, even though you have gone for a ride, in terms of monitoring your fitness gains. So if you're looking to track your fitness gains through Strava, then make sure you record your power or your heart rate, or make sure you go back in to each ride and put down your perceived exertion out of 10 in terms of how you felt the ride was. Was it easy, moderate, or hard? And that way it will estimate your fatigue load and how much energy and how much power and how much fitness you've improved upon based on those calculations. So is this training for you, first of all? So if you're looking to increase your cycling FTP by 30 watts over the next 4 months, then this is for you. If you're in good physical shape but somehow struggle to maintain a healthy weight off the bike, this is also for you as well. If you've been dieting for years and feel that you're doing the same thing and you're doing everything right, but you're not seeing the results that you know you should be getting, then this is for you as well. And if you've also had lots of cycling experience and want to effectively reach your full potential, then this is for you too. However, this training is not for you if you're looking for a quick fix and not making a full lifestyle change. If you're looking for a quick win, then you're better off going to Weight Watchers. If you want to follow the old way of training that increases your risk of injury and burnout, it's also not for you if you're looking to transform your relationship with food and continue to jump from diet to diet. And also, if you don't care about your long-term health and making any changes to support yourself and others around you. So if you can tick any of those boxes, you're probably better off stopping this video right now and doing something else with your time. However, if it is for you, then stick with me, because we're going to be showing you exactly how I got those results for myself and my clients. And this is what we're going to go through. Here is the truth about how you can transform your health that no one is actually telling you. So you can absolutely be in the best shape of your life without giving up the foods that you love, without hours and hours of cycling, and fit this in around work, family, and other life commitments. You might see cyclists out there doing 10 plus hours a week on the bike and wondering how the hell they fit in that around their family, life, and other commitments. Well, I'm telling you today that you can even get similar results to them and improve your fitness in as little as 4 hours a week. And I'm going to show you exactly how you do that. However, many cyclists and people with these commitments generally are not capable of doing this because they fundamentally don't understand this. You fundamentally don't understand how to manage and structure your time efficiently and also your training efficiently. So you need to reshape your relationship with yourself and with food so you eventually embody the dream you're becoming. So if you are looking to become a healthier individual, you need to embody that you will be a healthy individual. You don't want to be, eventually you will be. Just like embodying being a cyclist. Over time, that is just who you become. You are a cyclist. If you just started cycling, it will take you some time, but you will become a cyclist. So a little bit about myself first before we get into the presentation. So as I introduced myself at the start, my name is Neil Damerell from Damerell Coaching. Graduated from Loughborough University with a Master's in Sport and Exercise Nutrition in 2011. Worked briefly as a sports science intern for Leicester Tigers Rugby Club and then launched Damerell Coaching back in 2012. In that time, I provided over 30,000 health assessments and coached clients to transform their health and fitness for the better. And personally, on a personal note, I've completed 2 Ironmans, 3 half Ironmans, cycled John O'Groats to Land's End in just 10 days, completed the Etap, and recently the Dragon Ride in Wales alongside multiple other half marathon triathlons along the route of my journey to complete all those as well. So as you can see, this is me at the end of my ride across Britain. John O'Groats to Land's End, 1,000 days, so 100 miles a day. That was an amazing experience. That was one of my first big challenges on the bike, and I loved every single second of it. That's me at the top of the Jouplan. Before, I've climbed that mountain twice now, recently on the tour this year. Beautiful climb, nice and challenging, and completed it under an hour, which was nice. And that was just a few years before I did the Etap as well. That's me cycling up Sacalabra in Mallorca. I've been over to Mallorca 4 times now, cycling, having done the 2019 half Ironman over there as well, but also just a cycling holiday because obviously it's cycling paradise. It's a beautiful island and great climbing, and Sacalabra is an awesome climb if you've not done it before. One of my favourites for sure. And this is some feedback from some clients. We recently did a challenge with them, and as you can see, Larry lost 5 pounds. That was enough, just a 5-day challenge. And Richard was 4 pounds down and, cycling like a demon, and, his jersey fitting a lot better for him as well. And that's just in our little 5-day challenge that we run sometimes with our clients, just as a bit of fun and get things kick-started for everybody. And then this is a few clients I've worked with in the past. Melanie, that was leading up to her wedding. She looks in great shape there. Ashley, and then a few other clients that have lost weight as well, which is great. And Mabel, she lost a couple pounds in a week, even still drinking Prosecco as well. So she's still enjoying the food that they love in order to manage their lifestyle correctly and still see the results they're looking for. This is one of my clients as well, who's, you can see his FTP scores are going up, power numbers are going up, and his weight has improved in a very short period of time. 8th of June to 23rd of June, he's lost there 6 pounds, which is awesome, which is half a stone in a very short period of time, and that's continued. He's actually achieving amazing things recently, which is fantastic. So really pleased for him. So what I'm going to show, like I promised you at the start, I'm going to show you now, here are the exact steps that I, myself, and also my clients take to get the results. And I want to put it out there that this will help you actually take action. So this is my playbook to help you cycle faster, recover. I'm not hiding anything. This is exactly how I train my clients. I want to be really open and transparent for you, so you can literally take everything that I'm going to talk to you today about and action that in order to get the same results in the next 4 months. This is also going to transform your health And it's just from simple habits stacked on top of one another. So cycling faster and transforming your health is not as complex as everyone wants to make you believe. They tend to do this to confuse you in order for them to sell you on their solution. But in reality, it is very simple. It's cleaning your teeth every day. Because when you're a kid, I want to ask you a question. Do your parents tell you to clean your teeth? And I imagine they did. And they would tell you to go and brush your teeth over and over again, and you'll soak and go back to bed. And the next night, they'll do the same thing to go and brush your teeth. But as an adult now, you brush your teeth because you have an external accountability that has turned into an internal habit. And that's what we're going to do for you today. So now, without making it too complex for you, here are the simple pieces of my 9-step formula to transform you to a successful cyclist transformation in my What method. So we've got 3 pillars to my method. First method, we'll go into detail, but I'm just going to give you a summary of each one. So first method is the assess method. So before taking any action in any walk of life, but certainly if you're taking any action in terms of changing your lifestyle, you need to know your starting point. You need to understand your fitness, where your diet is. We also measure blood and body measurements with our clients. So we look at their cardiac risk by measuring their cholesterol, vitamin levels, etc., testosterone, just to give them an overall idea of their overall fitness internally as well, not just physically on the outside. Little diary analysis as well. So it's important to know, in order to understand where you want to go, you need to know where you're starting from. And that way you can just review and assess things and see how things are going to improve going forward as well. So if you don't know where you've started from, how do you know what you need to change in order to improve? Phase 2 is action phase. So this is going to be implementing a nutrition and diet plan. And this is also going to allow you to make those changes consistently in order to improve. We're going to program, and that's with training peaks. We're going to design you a plan going forward. And then we're going to set realistic calorie goals in order to see your weight come down gradually without sacrificing your performance on the bike. And then pillar 3 is an action phase. So this is where it comes in, how we work with our clients. We have weekly check-ins to make sure they're progressing. If they need anything from us, do they need more support? Do they need any programs changing? Is certain exercises or sessions too easy, too hard? That way we can continually review and update their program to make sure they're always seeing improvements. Body measurements, progress, and then progressively build the program and build habits. So this is going to allow them to understand how they can consistently build this in around their lifestyle and maintain it going forward. So let's go into detail in each pillar, just give you a better idea of what you need to understand to make sure by tracking these things, you allow yourself to see their improvements and monitor the progress. So this will allow you to review what's working, what's not working, and then change things accordingly depending on how things are going. So step 1 is definitely the diary analysis and weekly structure. So this will be looking at, first of all, I always ask my clients, what is their commitments? Do they have time? How many hours are they working per week? How many hours do they sleep? When do they eat? What are their daily responsibilities in terms of family, work, and other life commitments? Just so you can make your plan as efficient and effective as possible. Because if you can train for only 3 hours a week, then there's no good getting a program advising you to train 8 to 10 hours a week, when realistically you can only do 3. So you need to make sure the sessions are planned accordingly based on what you can realistically achieve. Then you're also going to look at your working hours. So you want to make sure you fit your training around that, schedule that as you would do any other meeting in work. Eating times, I would advise you on certain protocols on time to eat, but this is down to you as an individual, and we'll advise you of that as well. And obviously just making sure you're sleeping as well. So, what is your communication times? How many hours of sleep you get in? When do you go to bed? When do you get up to bed? When do you get up in the mornings? All these things are really essential to understand how you can personally plan a program for yourself, but also how we will plan a program for you once we know all these fundamentals are in place. Then the next thing is making sure you track your progress by understanding your starting point. So you need to know your weight, your body fat percentage, your waist and hip measurements, take some body images, front, side and back. We also measure cholesterol, diabetes, check vitamin levels. All these things will measure, so there's a starting point of where you have begun in order to see improvements going forward. Because if you've just seen improvements but you don't know what you need to improve upon, then you're generally going to be driving without a destination. For example, if your body fat is high but your cholesterol levels are generally pretty good, that might be the fact that your diet is actually pretty good, but you just need to make sure you're handling your portions a lot better, understanding your calories a bit better, but the actual fundamentals of your diet is generally pretty good. However, if the opposite is true of your high body fat and high cholesterol, then we'd also need to make changes in terms of the food you're consuming alongside being in a calorie deficit. So it's not just about losing weight, it's about changing the structure of your food that you consume in order to lower your cardiac risk by bringing your cholesterol levels down, also your sugar levels down if you're at risk for diabetes as well. And then you're going to analyze your eating habits. You're going to track your calories for a week, see where your food and majority of food is coming from. Is it coming from alcohol? Is it coming from snacks? Is it most of your meals in the evening? Most of your calories in the evening. Also understanding your food and dislikes. I'm not going to tell you to eat foods that you don't like if you've got any allergies, for example. So it's important to understand these things to make sure you need to know where to improve upon. If your calorie intake is quite high, you need to then, if you've tracked it, you know roughly how many calories per week you need to cut back on in order to bring your weight down gradually. And if you're consuming a lot of calories through alcohol or snacks, for example, you can see straight away that that'll be the easiest thing to remove in order to help you achieve those calorie goals that you'll be setting yourself. And then also looking at your naturally movement activities. You know, is your job sedentary? How much sleep are you getting? Is sleep good? Because if your job is quite sedentary and you only exercise in the gym, then it might be also a case to help assist you with managing your health and your weight in the future to increase the amount of activity you're doing on a daily basis. This is also a really good tool to increase the amount of zone 2 training you're doing without being on the bike. And if you haven't got time, spend more time on the bike to do zone 2, then certainly increasing the amount of movement you do on a daily basis is something to be more mindful of. So you need to understand that as well. Also understand your FTP, doing a fitness test before starting any program to understand your levels, so you understand your power zones and your heart rate zones, so that way you know what zones and power zones, heart rate and power, you need to be in when working on certain sessions, such as zone 2 efforts or more threshold zone 4 efforts. You know what you need to be doing in order to see that progress. If you don't know those fundamentals, you could just be cycling and might be cycling too hard, which could lead to overtraining, injury and burnout. You might be cycling too easy and not actually pushing yourself hard enough, so that way you don't actually see any improvements. While you'll be cycling, which is great, you're probably going to reach a plateau, and actually all that time is not going to be used as efficiently as it could be done. And then if we go into pillar 2, step 5 is make sure you look at your nutritional approach and diet planning. So we advise clients on making sure that diet is just a tool to lose weight. It's not the gold standard that you don't have to do this for the rest of your life. So we talked to them about calorie counting, we talked to them about hand-sized portions, about fixed diet plans, vegan, and then we'll choose what's most suitable for them and their preferred option, but also make sure that that is very flexible so they can change from week to week, and that way they can make sure that they can use their tools in terms of diet to assist them in their walks of life. So if they're on holiday, they might want to cut back on some carbs. If they're traveling a lot, they might have to fast a bit so they're not eating rubbish food at the airport, for example. So all these are just tools in order to manage your weight better, and we'll talk with our clients to help you manage that. So if you are looking to find the right tool in order when it comes to nutrition, then use multiple facets. So when it comes to being active, if you only had to run to keep fit, but you didn't like running, then it's going to be really hard to stick to. But if you enjoy running, but also enjoy cycling and swimming, cross-trainer, a bit of weight training, Doing a variety of things can help keep things interesting. It's also going to help you keep you fit by doing a variety of things. And the same thing applies to when you're trying to manage your calorie intake. You can one day be a vegan and have no meat. The next day you could be on a paleo diet and just have some vegetables and fish. So using those multiple tools to allow you to manage your weight better and achieve the weight loss goals that you're looking for in the future is definitely going to be the way forward. Also, program design and goals is looking at the training that you're doing, the resistance training, taking into account the intensity and the frequency that you're doing. So I've talked about this before, but if you've got more time to train, then probably more zone 2 training sessions would be appropriate for you. If you have less time to train, then might be looking at doing more zone 4 efforts. That way you can increase your FTP, increase your fitness. There'll be harder efforts, but the zone 2 sessions might be just increasing your NEAT activity like we discussed before, in order to make sure you get in a good aerobic fitness in and conditioning, but time on the bike is used more efficiently to focus on quality rather than quantity. If you do have more time, you can have a bit of both, but you need to understand how many hours you have to train, so what things you would need to do. My advice would be going to more zone 4 if you have limited time. Make sure you got good days recovery in between there to allow your body to recover. And if you've got more time, more zone 2 efforts, which you probably could do 3 or 4 times a week, and a long ride at the weekend, easy to getting in close to 10 hours of cycling a week if you have that available to you. And then make sure you add in some weight training as well. That'll be at least once a week in order to build more muscle mass, to lower body fat, and this will increase your metabolism to help you burn more calories at rest, and also minimize risk of injury on the bike, make you more efficient as a cyclist. And as you get older, we lose muscle on average 1% a year. So this is going to minimize that decline, which in a sense is going to allow you to be fitter and healthier as you get older. And then the next thing is make sure you're in a calorie deficit. We talked about this, so we tracked your calories initially. That was what I advise you do. Track your calories and then have about 500 calories less per day. Once you know where you can save those 500 calories from after tracking your calories for a week, use tools like MyFitnessPal and other tracking apps that are available to you. And then that way you can think, right, if I'm having a chocolate bar once a day, which is 250 calories, if I just don't have that, even replace it with an apple, I might be saving myself 200 calories a day just from doing that, and then increasing your activity. Then the final steps of the pillar 3 is just making sure you constantly assess and review all these processes. So a weekly body measurement, or what I tend to do now is actually every 2 weeks, a weigh-in, a biofeedback. So that'll be looking at your sleep and your stress scores, and just see how things are going in terms of your motivation. How has your week been? Has your training been really good? Has it been bad? Why has it been bad? Understanding and constantly reviewing things will allow you to then make changes to improve the next week. If you just think it's really bad and then get down on yourself that it's bad, you need to understand why. If you've not lost weight, then obviously there's something missing that you've not been adhering to. Have you been really tracking your calories? Have you been been cutting back on the portions that you said you were going to be doing? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you making sure you're hitting all the sessions that you said you were going to be hitting each week? Are the intensities there? Are you working hard enough? All these things are really important to see progress. And if you don't review them each week, that's why we have a weekly check-in with our clients to make sure that by doing so, I can understand their needs better, make changes to their program, maybe give them some needed advice if they're struggling a little bit, just so we can start overcoming those hurdles really quickly and improving and making sure they get the results they're looking for, as opposed to just sitting there wondering why they're not achieving anything and having no direct feedback. So by having direct feedback for yourself, if you had a weekly check-in form that you could write down every Sunday how you've been going, that will be a really good tool for you just to make sure that you're monitoring your improvement. Imagine it if you're in a job, and most businesses will have regular meetings to see how the business is going. So treat yourself as a business and try and monitor your progress week in, week out, so that way you can see any pitfalls and overcome them as quickly as possible. And then the key thing with that, this will lead into step number 9, is that you're then going to progress and tweak your exercises and your training based on your feedback. Because if you're going to the gym and you start off with doing some bodyweight push-ups on your knees, and this is becoming quite easy after 4 weeks, then by reviewing that and seeing that you can do more press-ups in a minute, for example, than you could do before, now you're going to be moving on to full push-ups, because if you're just stuck to the same one, you're not really going to see much improvement. Same with your cycling. Every 6 to 8 weeks, we'll do another fitness test to make sure that the progress in their power FTP is increasing. That way then your markers will change in terms of your power levels, in terms of what is going to be your zones for zone 2, recovery, zone 3, zone 4, threshold, VO2 max zones. They will change and move with your FTP. But if you're constantly staying at the same zones and training in the same zones you did after your first FTP, you're going to plateau and never really see any progress. So you want to always constantly be pushing yourself, and then retest every 6 to 8 weeks. I would advise 4 weeks is quite a narrow window, so always allow 6 to 8 weeks, so you've got a good chunk of training to see a significant impact, rather than thinking you've got to test every 4 weeks, which can be quite intense if you're doing that, especially an FTP test, which is a maximal test. So by doing so, that way your training will change, and then you'll see that constant improvement, because you'll be working at harder zones and progressing every time you improve. And same with your diet, you'll be able to review what things are working, what food you're enjoying, what things you might want to swap out and not have, what exercise sessions you're enjoying, what things you're getting the most benefit from. So by progressing the program and reviewing it, it will allow you to build better habits, understand how you can improve your fitness going forward in the long run, and make those changes sustainable by constantly reviewing your habits. And that's why most programs do the following. So programs you might have used before is that programs will be a one size fits all program. They will cater to the masses. They'll give you a beginner program and you would follow that. And while it might work for a lot of people, it won't work for most, because it's not catered to your individual needs. It's not catered for your work, family, and other commitments. I remember a long time ago seeing in programs in men's health, I think, yeah, I'm going to do that workout. And the workout was like training 5-6 days a week. It's like, how am I going to fit that in around work? And you try it because you think, oh, I can do it. And then eventually after a couple of weeks, you realize that this is not going to be sustainable. And then you actually don't even start exercising. You stop exercising because you think, well, that's the only way I need to train to get fit. And then there's no other alternative. So you just stop, and then you have no real progression. So you need to be advised on how you can fit that around your work and life commitments. And also you need to understand your starting point, risk of injury and overtraining as well. Understanding not just your fitness levels now, but where you started mentally. Have you had issues with food? Have you had issues with training? Have you had any accidents that you need to account for? All these things you need to really understand for the individual to make sure the program is tailored to you as an individual, as opposed to thinking you can just jump on any generic weight loss plan and get the same results. Or you probably can get some results to start with, but you might have an increased risk of injury, overtraining, because no one's advising you based on your own movement patterns, your own injuries, if you have any, and your own mental well-being, depending on your relationship with food and training in the past. And also genetic diet advice, and it's not specific enough to cycling. So a lot of people I speak to have done a lot of weight training. I've gone to personal trainers before, and they're just focused on building more muscle. A lot of women just want a bigger bum, but actually your advice in terms of building more muscle in the gym and building more muscle to support your cycling is going to be completely different. And also your diet is going to be completely different as well. What you eat off the bike is going to be completely different to what you eat on the bike. And also they're very different, because a lot of people might think, I'm just going to burn the calories off by cycling more. Actually, you need to consume more while cycling, and then focus on your diet more, particularly off the bike, because a lot of people struggle with binge eating that I've spoken to, where they would cycle all day, come back, raid the fridge, and then put all that weight back on that they've been cycling, because they've not fueled well while cycling. And that's the key thing as well. So the advice that we provide is very, very tailored to you as a cyclist, to make sure you get the benefits that you need from the program. And then this is why my program is different. Like I said, it's going to be a tailored program that is reviewed monthly, making sure we always see progressions or regressions to make sure you're always, one, not going to overtrain, limiting fatigue, and then also seeing progress. Also cater for your time commitments. If you say to me, I can only train twice a week, then we'll make sure you only have 2 sessions a week scheduled. If you can train more than that, we'll schedule more sessions. If at times you can schedule more because there's less commitment depending on how busy you are during certain times of the year, we'll increase the amount of exercise you can do. If not, we'll cut it back. We're very, very flexible, and that's why we cater to your daily needs as opposed to, like I said, just a generic program. We test and retest and monitor progress, like I said before. We'll make sure that we have regular blood tests taken, regular weight taken, regular body measurements, regular fitness tests to make sure that you're seeing it progress as well. And then tailored diet to support you, to educate you. And that's the key, is to educate you on improving your skills and knowledge so you never have to be on a diet ever again. You understand the fundamentals of nutrition, not just for exercise, but for living. So ultimately, you'll live a healthier life, lower risk of cardiovascular disease, and generally maintain a healthy weight for the rest of your life without even having to go back on any diet. Naturally, our weight will fluctuate throughout the year, so it's understandable to put on a little bit in the winter months and lose it more in the summer months. However, that fluctuation is maybe going to be only by a few pounds, not by 2 or 3 kilos or 2 or 3 stone after going on an all-inclusive holiday. So the advice that we provide and the support we provide will allow you to make sure you know how to look after yourself, enjoy treats, enjoy everything, not sacrifice everything, but not have those extreme significant differences in terms of your weight as you might experience throughout the year. So now you know how the program works. I do have one thing I would like to offer you. And if you've actually sat through this whole video, coming up to 34 minutes now, I really commend you for watching the whole video all the way through. Hopefully you've taken everything that I've gone through with you today and you can action all of this in order to help you improve your weight going forward. However, if you feel you would not want to have a bit more advice from me as a coach, then if you're a beginner cyclist looking to do their first sportif, or an amateur cyclist who might struggle with their weight off the bike, and also an amateur cyclist and just looking to take their fitness to the next level, then this might be for you. And also if you want to transform your health without giving up food you enjoy, and also not spending hours each week on the bike, then in fact we're so confident that our program will work for you that you can even try it for the first 14 days absolutely free. Give it a go, get used to working with me, understand you get all the resources which you can keep for yourself as well. And in just 14 days, we've seen, like I said before, in 5 days people have lost 5 to 10 pounds in the first 2 weeks of working with me as well. So even if working with me is not something you actually would like to do after the 14 days, there's no commitment to continue after that. No payment will be taken, and you'll potentially walk away half a stone lighter just from working with me and understanding the fundamentals of a basic fitness program that you can even take on and use yourself to achieve the results that you want to achieve. So what I'll do, I'm going to post the link in the description below. So all you need to do if you want to start the free trial is just click on the link and everything will be there for you. Forms to fill out to get you started ASAP. And if you've got any questions about anything that I've gone through in today's video, then also let me know in the comments below as well what questions you might have. But hopefully I'm really pleased that you've stuck with me this far. Apply everything I've gone through with you and keep it really simple, and you're definitely going to achieve the results that I've achieved and my clients have achieved in 4 months in terms of improving your FTP and losing up to a stone, 2 or 3 kilos in 4 months quite easily. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you haven't subscribed and like the channel, then feel free to subscribe and like and give us a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon.